Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Monday, December 22nd, 2025. I am Dave Biddle, back in the saddle again, joined by Dan Rubin. Thanks for covering for me all week last week, Dan. I appreciate it. I know you were telling the good people that I was like off on some island location somewhere. I wish that was true, but I like the humor. So Ohio State, Miami. I mean, I like it. I would have liked Ohio State, Texas A&M too, especially after watching Texas A&M play in that game. But I'm glad Ohio State's not playing a team from Texas in the state of Texas in the quarterfinal. It's going to be a good matchup, a fun matchup. Buckeyes favored by 9.5. Your initial thoughts?
I thought it would be 8.5. That's my initial thought. I'm trying not to make too much of the game. I just watched the Pee Wee football game scoring where it was 0-0 at the half and was a special teams. It set special teams back several decades. Very interesting matchup with Miami. I, like everyone else, I was thinking, okay, I think it's pretty clear for us now. It's like if our offensive line has a great game, like tell me after this game how the offensive line played, and then I'll know who won. I was kind of surprised, though. Ruben Bain and Akeem Mesidor have combined for fewer sacks than Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson. I don't think people would know that based on the national pub. And then if you look at the other statistics, they are really top heavy. I get the kid's name wrong. Malachi Tony. I want to call him Malachi Brown. I called him Malachi Corley the other day. I'm struggling with the Malachis. He's got twice as many receptions as anybody else on the team. Fletcher's by far their number one running back. So I don't think they have the number of weapons Ohio State does. So if you tell me Ohio State can block them, I think they'll win handily.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, Tony's very explosive. They got to be careful when they punt that ball away from him, or make sure you get your guys down there because that kid is explosive. But you're right. I mean, he's really like their only I guess they have another receiver that's decent, but yeah, I mean, Fletcher's really good. Our old friend Mark Fletcher, he's really good. He's really good. I would love to trade him for C.J. Donaldson, but that's a topic for a different. Maybe that's a topic for today. But he's really good.
I think you'd have to make up something on the salary cap to do that, by the way.
Yeah, you might have to give them like a wide receiver to be named later or something like that. Do we know it's going to happen yet with Heartline? Has he decided? I know we'll find out today for sure because we're going to talk to Ryan Day. By the way, programming note, my friends, before I forget, I was going to say this later. Big, huge day on the beat. They're doing everything today. It's called On-Campus Media Day for the Cotton Bowl. So also, Miami's doing their on-campus media. But they're probably like, what? We just played. But for us, we haven't talked to these guys in a while. So we're getting the offensive guys at 11 o'clock. We're getting Julian Sayin. We're getting J.J. Smith. These are guys that you guys have heard of. We're getting – who else are we getting? Carson Hinsman. I did write this down. And we're getting one more, Max Clare. So that's a pretty good little group of guys at 11. Julian, Jeremiah, Carson, and Max Clare. And then we're getting Ryan Day at noon. And then a little break in the action. They're going to practice. We're going to come back after practice at 6:45. And we're going to interview Matt Patricia. I have a pencil in my hat. We'll have Kenyatta Jackson, K-Mac, and both Styles, Lorenzo Jr. and Sonny. So there you go. Big day on the beat.
Good talkers. All those guys they got out there are the very sharp cats.
So I'm curious what because I was a little bit unplugged last week. Not all the way. What's the latest with Heartline?
You tell me.
I'll find out later today. I just didn't know if there was.
That's one of those things I would have to be told by someone who knows, and I'll wait for you guys to come back when you talk to your sources. If you're asking me, the less the better. He's gotten us here, and I appreciate it. I think one of the benefits of having a coach who really is his strength is offense. I'm less worried about this. If it was Matt Patricia that was off to South Florida, I'd be awfully concerned.
Yes.
And that's not to besmirch Heartline in the long term. You're talking about a guy who literally, this is not an arguable point, is coming off, if not the greatest recruiting run of all time. It's in the mix. Just turn on your NFL Sunday ticket and wait about a minute and a half, and one of them will come up in the 1 o'clock window, or
and it's just going to keep going.
It's incredible.
It's just going to keep going. Carnell's then going to be the next one. Then JJ. It's just going to keep. And eventually, Chris Henry Jr. Just boom, 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 boom.
But I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba's the last time I looked was the odds-on favorite to get Offensive Player of the Year. I looked at the Offensive Rookie of the Year, and it was like Travion and Emeka were the top two. So things are going well on that front. And then, like yesterday, I think Olave had maybe 10 catches, over 100 some odd yards. I mean, I don't watch the Saints, so I pick them up either like on the radio and highlights, or like when I'm watching the red zone. But yesterday, he's like, Chris Olave is a red zone star for the Saints, because they don't go to the Saints often, and when they do, it's usually Olave. So yeah, that's been incredible. But in terms of like day-to-day prep, also I like the idea that it's an extended break. It's not like they're cramming for this matchup. They've got a chance to really dive deep. So maybe having fewer eyeballs on it won't be a big of an issue. I have confidence in Day. I was in a group situation several times this weekend, and much like yourself, Dave, the first thing someone usually says to me in social settings has to do with the Buckeyes and how confident I am and who did I want and blah, blah, blah. And most people, I think get it. They're going to be a heavy favorite. So I'm confident.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not breaking news here. Ohio State is clearly the better team, but Miami's a good team. If you look at it, there's a lot more to it than this, obviously. But you look at total offense, Ohio State, the number 24 total offense in the country. Miami with the number 36 total offense in the country. So pretty good on both ends. Defense, this is where both teams are the strongest, obviously. Ohio State, the number 1 total defense in the country. Miami, number 11 total defense in the country. And I agree 100% with Dan. Like, if you can, they're athletic at linebacker too, Miami. Not as athletic as Ohio State.
We'll be
a more athletic combination than Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles. I'm including the NFL when I say that. Good luck. But Miami's linebackers are athletic. Their defensive line is really good. As you mentioned, there might be a little that people – Ruben Bain's really, really, really good. When I see stuff like, oh, he could go number 1 overall in the draft, I'm like, let's calm down.
No chance.
Let's calm down.
Literally no chance of that happening. Go ahead.
Calm down. Exactly. Okay, thank you. We don't need to get too much into that. You agree with me. But they're a good team. There's no doubt about it. As I said, number 11 total defense in the country. But I like Ohio State's chances a lot here. I feel like Ohio State would have to play like their C game to lose this, and Miami would have to play their A game. If Ohio State plays their A game, look to freak out. Ohio State plays their B game, they're going to be fine. They just can't go in there and play their C game or whatever the hell they played against Indiana. This is where I'm pumping the brakes a little bit on Indiana. I felt like Ohio State played their D game against Indiana and still would have tied the game late with a chip shot field goal. So I feel like if they get another shot at Indiana, I think Ohio State's going to be just good to go there. I do want to ask you this. I've been thinking about this. Do you like the New Year's Eve? Because there's 3 games on New Year's Day, and we're the only one on New Year's Eve. Do you like that, or would you prefer it? Not that it matters. You gotta play the schedule they give you, Dan.
I guess I'll tell you. I mean, do I like it? I guess I would prefer it did not happen on that, because I committed to come on the show. I'm going to probably have to bag that I already told you I was going to do that. I did not know it was on New Year's when we
I don't know. I don't even know if we're going to do a show. I mean, right? No one's going to be listening.
Yeah, sure they won't.
Seriously.
I don't I don't really mind the New Year's Eve. I understand it. I mean, Ohio State, Miami is box office. So you want that if you're going to have to put a game on when everyone's eyeballs are a tad distracted, you'd want the tighter pull there, I guess. So it doesn't surprise me. I don't think you can come to Ohio State and be worried about playing in prime time. You kind of know what you signed on for. You're the main show in town. So in the country, really, for ratings, I think that's obvious. And then you're going to have so much of the nostalgia of the last matchup and all the stuff coming into it. The one thing I didn't say before is I don't see Carson Beck as the guy that's going to solve this defense.
Right.
He just doesn't strike me as the most comfortable guy under pressure, or when you're getting mixed up, or when Matt Patricia has an extended period of time to game plan for you and got to watch you play. And you're probably, I guess the break kind of takes away the rest factor. They get 10 days off, so they'll be plenty rested. But yeah, I think you'd be hard pressed to, like you said, figure out a way for Miami to beat Ohio State if they play well.
Yeah, I'd prefer I would like it to be a night game, but the next night. I'd prefer if it was
That's fair.
New Year's Day prime time. Yeah, it's just weird.
Well, if you do a post game show, you don't want to do it on New Year's Eve.
This is the thing. I'm going to be doing the post game show, and everybody's going to be watching, I don't know what's the new. Is it Ryan Seacrest? Like what I know, I don't really watch those shows anyway. Who's the new Dick? Is it Ryan Seacrest or is it? I don't know. People are going to be watching.
Go to our third host for that because I too tend to skip the network celebrations.
And there's going to be plenty of people who probably don't even want to do it, but they get roped into it by their family. We got to ring in the New Year's. I want to watch the game, and hopefully it's not a situation where Ohio State's trying to kick a game-winning field goal right when the clock strikes midnight. Like 3 years ago against Georgia, I still was like, that was another one. Obviously, it was on New Year's Eve when they got blown out by Clemson 31-0. New Year's Eve. Can we stop this?
Yeah, that the one you brought up about Georgia was like just a wild confluence of emotions. I mean, it was like made you. That was just so wild, dude. I've never had a New Year's experience like that where it was like ball drop, life drop, futures change, Marvin's brain, blah, blah, blah. It was just wild. So
would have won the national championship for sure because TCU had just beaten Michigan. That was the game before Ohio State. So I was elated watching that game and went over and covered the game at the Benzo, which, hey, we finally got back to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the Notre Dame game and took care of business. But then I was so mad after that. I actually had to, and there's really no good place to do it, like in the press box, unless you want to have everybody looking at you like, why are you talking so loud? I'm doing a podcast. And I was so mad. I knew I needed time to cool off anyway. So I actually just, got the shuttle back to the hotel and just did the post-game show from the hotel.
Smart man.
We were a little late getting started. It was not immediately after the game. I needed a little time to cool off. But
that was also, I hate to depress people. That was after Dwayne had passed. And I remember thinking
that's right.
It's a big win for Dwayne, and I had all this stuff to say about it, and then it didn't happen. And I'm not sure I bagged my post-game appearance, but I know Dr. Johnny Walker Black came in to assist me with the come down. That was brutal. That was definitely brutal.
And Dwayne either passed away that year. It was either on Christmas or like the day after, right around there. And that was, jeez. We found out from his wife posting on Facebook, and then it obviously got back to us quickly. That was a tough time, man. Just out of nowhere, we lost our man. Love you, Dwayne. So they're going to take care of business this year on New Year's Eve. They're going to take care of business, and then it'll be interesting, man. I mean, Ole Miss. I was thinking, are they going to be distracted? Ole Miss is looking good. This might galvanize them. This can go, as we all know in sports, these things can go one of two ways when something happens. It doesn't have to necessarily be the coach leaving. It can be something else. Anything can galvanize a team, or sometimes it can break a team apart. That looked like an Ole Miss team that was like, let's freaking go. Like they have their entire team still. They just don't have Lane Kiffin. Do we ever think Lane Kiffin is like this X's and O's genius? I remember the 2014 semifinal when he had Derrick Henry and he gave the ball to Derrick Henry 13 times the entire game. They had Blake Sims at quarterback, probably one of the worst Alabama quarterbacks in recent memory. He had Blake Sims throw the ball 36 times. I think Lane Kiffin's a little overrated as a play caller.
Good timing for jobs, though.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This Pete Golding, we'll see. They're talented. I like their quarterback, Chambliss. I do think Georgia's going to win. Georgia's favored by 6.5. So, I mean, it's under a touchdown, obviously. But I won't be shocked if Ole Miss wins that game. I'll be surprised. It'll probably be, if Ohio State takes care of business against Miami, it'll probably be Ohio State, Georgia. I like that it would be in the Fiesta Bowl. Ohio State's home away from home for many years.
Sure.
But it won't be in Atlanta like it was 3 years ago, which was ridiculous playing Georgia in Atlanta. But I won't be surprised if it's Ole Miss. Before I forget, not that I was going to forget, I have it written down. Got my notes right here. One thing I have been doing, Dan, I did not unplug last week as far as getting on one of the 24/7 sites, that being our Michigan site. Oh,
what's going on up there?
Oh,
how are they doing? They doing all right?
Boy, it went from we're getting DeBoer. We're getting DeBoer to okay, all right, we're getting Dillingham to what in the world is going on? Are we getting Jeff Brom? I mean, it was like they went from we're Michigan to to DEFCON 5 like quickly. And I don't know. Maybe things have changed, but yesterday I was perusing their boards, and a lot of their guys are convinced, and they're not happy about it. They're convinced that they're going to get Jeff Brom. I'm talking about like their fans. Like the writers are kind of just like saying, yeah, this could happen. When they first brought up Jeff Brom as a candidate, the fans did not want to hear that. Now it's like, oh, he might be last man standing. It's like a Penn State situation. Now, with Penn State, I think it worked out well for them in the end. Not that Matt Campbell's great, but if you made me pick between Matt Campbell and the BYU coach, I would take Matt Campbell, especially in this area of the country that he's familiar with, played at Mount Union, coached at Toledo. I don't think the BYU coach has any connections to this area. So I think Matt Campbell, that actually kind of worked out well for Penn State, even though they got turned down like 30 different times, exaggerating a little bit. But, man, I've been following this close up there. Jeff Brom would be people can say, well, that'd be an upgrade over Sharon. Dan, you would be an upgrade over Sharon. Let's not talk about anyone would be an upgrade over Sharon. Like that's and Michigan people are saying this themselves. Like, that's not the standard, is it? Like, man, Jeff Brom would be an interesting hire. And by interesting, I mean good for Ohio State.
Yeah, I will tell you this. I think Penn State actually lucked out personally.
Yes.
And I tell people this, and this is kind of a cliche, but Pete Carroll was like USC's 7th choice, something like that. And he did fine. So that's yeah, I understand the idea of going after your top choice and stuff like that. And when you get rejected, that's depressing. But in football, we've seen many, many examples of guys who get a chance, who weren't your top choice, who do well. I like Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell's going to be recruiting in Ohio as hard as any Penn State coach has, given his background. So that's one to watch. For Michigan, it's actually kind of interesting. I happened to be within about 10 feet of a Michigan grad during the game. And it became a referendum. Like, if they win the game, you don't get DeBoer. If they lose the game badly, you get DeBoer. And, there are Michigan fans who thought it was who think and thought it was a done deal with DeBoer, where like it's just a matter of announcing it now. So
when Oklahoma went up 17-0, they were like looking at houses for him and everything. Like they thought it was an absolute done deal when Oklahoma went up. Then it was just like pick six. Because I do think, even though he said he was going to stay, I do think if Oklahoma, if they won in a close game, if Alabama lost in a close game and they gave DeBoer everything he wanted, I do think he would have stayed. If they would have got blown out by Oklahoma, I do think. But Michigan might have been onto something there.
I agree with you, but it's ridiculous that your hiring comes down to the score in a game that has nothing to do with you. That is preposterous. You're talking about a coach who's like, that's a long-term thing. You're not hiring a coach for a week. He's going to be there for years. And listen, Michigan needs some help, man. They got to rebuild their culture. They've been. I mean, I saw Harbaugh had 7 coaches arrested.
The Matt Weiss stuff is bad, and it almost gets lost in the shuffle. It doesn't really. I mean, the athletic
and there's like rampant deviant behavior. Yeah. So
and now all the details are coming out. It's like, yeah, he was an absolute creep. I mean, Harbaugh knew how to pick him, huh? Matt Weiss, he had Connor Stallions, Sharon. I mean, these are all guys that the Harbaugh brought in. And, man, it looks shady. The Matt Weiss stuff is bad, and they've had so many scandals up there, it almost gets lost in the shuffle. The Athletic, I didn't forget about it because I've talked about it for a long time, but I hadn't thought about it in a while. The Athletic just did a big piece on it yesterday. Then they came out with a tell-all about the Sharon. It wasn't really a tell. It was basically stuff we already knew about Sharon, just a little bit more details about the Instagram stuff and texting these girls that didn't even know him. It wasn't like he was just texting like girls that he had kind of knew. He was texting girls that he had never met just based on their pictures. Just absolute creeps.
Big on expansion.
The point is it's such a scandal-ridden situation that I almost forgot about the Matt Weiss situation. I don't know how Ward Manuel still has a job. I don't know how he still has a job, but he does. And that's another thing. Not a lot of people are talking about it. Some are. It's another reason it's hard for Michigan to get a coach right now because that whoever the AD, you're going to have a new AD is my point. Ward Manuel, I don't know how he's still there, but he is. So if you go there right now where Ward Manuel's the AD, he's not long for this world as Michigan's AD. So you're going to have a new AD come in, and no coach wants that. No coach wants to take a job knowing a new AD is going to come in. Now, probably that new AD would like the coach, you would guess, but you don't know that for sure. So there's a lot of reasons that Michigan job is maybe not as attractive as Michigan fans would like to think, but it's just been crazy, man.
I've said this and was pilloried. They should just let Biff coach for a year, Pogge, and take their lumps and try and come back, because you're going to end up taking guys in recruiting that you probably wouldn't have. You're going to have to, my golly, what you're going to have to pay someone in the portal to come there, the juice. You don't think agents are like, hey, you want us to come to the dumpster fire, tack on another mill. You know what I mean? And then you're getting your salary scale out of whack. So they're in real trouble, man.
It's
you
crazy.
Tell me who the coach is. Who could they get?
I hope that's what they do. I hope they have Biff for a year. I think that'd be hilarious.
Well, what would they do otherwise? What are they going to do? Who are they going to hire?
Braum sounds like, what's funny is like after like Alabama won, then Kenny Dillingham was like they have those futures markets, those prediction markets, and it was like he was like a 1-2. It wasn't even like even money, not 2-1. It was 1-2. So -200 was the odds that Dillingham was going to be the coach, and then he signed his extension at Arizona State. He's staying, and Braum is probably the betting favorite. I haven't checked those prediction markets. I think Braum is. You just go to the Michigan boards; they think that Braum's the guy, which is insane.
I don't think Braum was a terrible coach.
I don't think he's
Louisville has produced. Louisville guys produce, man. Jawar Jordan, I like that running back. He's doing well in the league. Tyler Shuck is in the league.
I was going to say Chris Olave's quarterback. Yeah,
yeah. They're. I mean, like when Miami went to Louisville, was that a Friday night game? Remember that? Yeah. I knew Miami was going to lose that game. I mean, Louisville, if they get you in their clutches in a good spot, they'll win. The one thing I would say about the idea that the one thing I do not agree with in coaching is like the guy who does more with less. He doesn't always do more with more. That's not a natural linear comparison. You know what I'm saying? When a guy comes from a smaller school like Louisville, and they're like, oh, if you get him to Michigan, his recruiting budget and his chance to get that doesn't always work that way.
Like Rich Rod, that's what they said about Rich Rod when he went from West Virginia to Michigan. They're like, well, if he did this at West Virginia, West Virginia in the doorstep of a national championship. Yeah. 3 years later, he's out of a job.
It's a different job to coach. It's hard to coach great players, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, Signetti did it. That's no doubt.
Jim Tressel did it, but that's a little different. You're talking about a guy from a lower level, which is frankly what I think. I shouldn't even say this because I don't want them to do it. That Michigan should find like the best FCS coach, bring him in. I don't know who's South Dakota State. I don't know. Montana's.
I got you right.
Coach. He's like a 35-year-old who came up as an offensive coordinator. Now he's leading. He's like the best FCS coach in the country. That's the guy I'd get. Jim Tressel doesn't get brought up enough when people talk about this. They're like, Jim Tressel won 4 national championships at Youngstown State. 4, had them in 2 other national championship games. That's getting it done. Signetti, I know no one's Googled it, but all he does is win. And yeah. I mean, they should look at some. And I know James Madison had 2 years at D1 when he made the jump to Indiana. I get that. But still, for the most part, he was an including at James Madison for part of the time. He was an FCS coach. And even before that, lower level than that, D2. So that's what I would do if I was Michigan. I'd find a FCS coach and let's roll. I thought Dillingham would be a good hire for them. I was hoping he didn't take the job, so I was happy to see that. So we'll see.
Signetti ain't 35. That's for sure.
That's true. Doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a 45. Doesn't have to be a young guy.
I'm just saying, Signetti, dude. Yeah. That you're literally trying to recreate lightning into a bottle. It's legendary. Indiana has the most losses in the history of football or something. And he's turned them into their number one. Signetti has made every other coach's job in football besides Ryan Day and a couple other dudes way harder.
Yep.
And maybe Ryan Day too. Because the expectations, every new coach that's hired is like, oh, we're going to get the Signetti bump. No, you're not. Okay. No, you are not. Like so I even bringing that name up now has gotten to a point where it's like almost ridiculous. What he's done is unprecedented. Now I'll say this. You could not have done this in the past with the old rules. So you want to, there's an argument to be made that the coach you bring in now, you could just go out there and get a great, like, recruiter, and I mean like a salesman, right? And just hire a good OC and a good DC and be in the talent acquisition business. There's some teams that would probably run better like that. I don't think Michigan will do that. They're too concerned about their impression of the Michigan man, their tradition, which, by the way, has been completely nuked. If you walk into a city, I'm trying to think of, like, if you're walking the streets of Denver and you walk up to someone and they're a college football fan, you say, what's the dirtiest program in college football? They're going to say Michigan.
Yep.
So you can't be the Michigan aura has been punctured. It'll be interesting to watch.
It's turned into a punchline. If you get on these like comment sections, like I've referenced, because the Athletics they're not, it's not muckraking. They came out with back-to-back. Yesterday, Matt Weiss, today, Sharon Moore. And if you get in the comment section, it's everybody, probably a lot of them are Buckeye fans, but it's funny. The Michigan man thing has just turned into like a meme almost. It's like, it's been turned around on them, almost like it's saying Michigan clown, And they take pride in that, because it was cool when Bo did that. Bo didn't invent it. I think Fielding Yost was the first one to say it many, many moons ago. But the most famous one, obviously, is when Bill Frieder, speaking of Arizona State and coaches moving, Bill Frieder took the job at Arizona State. He was like, I'll stay on for the NCAA tournament. Bo Schembechler said, no, you won't. A Michigan man will coach Michigan. And I actually thought that was cool. And then Steve Fisher, they win the national. I didn't think that was cool. They would go on and win the national championship. But if you take the Michigan part out of it, which is hard to do if you're a Buckeye, kind of a cool story, and Bo was the AD at the time.
Well, the fact that they won it.
Michigan man will coach Michigan. And it's kind of like what Ole Miss is doing right now. An Ole Miss coach will coach Ole Miss. But now it's just turned into like this, and they take pride in that, man. These Michigan men take pride in that, and now it's a complete joke, and I'm here for it.
I said this on the show the other day, Dave. So for those of you who didn't hear my shtick then, when there's going to be books and history books and stuff written about the pandemic, and there'll be one written about who actually benefited from the pandemic, and Michigan football will be on there, because had they not had the pandemic get out of jail free card accessed, Ohio State would have beaten them by 70? And then Harbaugh would have been fired. Don't forget, Harbaugh took a pay cut. Name the last Hall of Fame coach that likes to take a pay cut. And like I said, ask someone in your organization in charge to take a pay cut. See how they respond to that. If it's not good.
Yeah, so I didn't like it when that happened to me. No, I'm kidding.
That's off the record, Dave. We don't want to get into the.
Why'd you have to bring that up now?
It's a dumpster fire of epic proportions, and they know it too, man. So
they do. I want to a couple things. I keep hearing Gabe Van. I don't know if we won't find this out today. Why would they just put this out there? But maybe we'll hear. I think I'm pretty good at reading between the lines, and maybe Ryan Day will say it. But Gabe Van Sickle, I'm hearing, is going to be your starting right guard on New Year's Eve. Dan and I will be with you for the postgame show. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Dan, someone. I'm not sure it'll be Dan Rubin.
I don't know. Oh yeah, I don't know if it'll be Dave Biddle.
I actually think it will be. That's funny.
I don't know. Yeah. I might have an illness that
I think we know
happens. I have the New Year's Eve illness. I have to, after the game. I think I got to
call in.
I just need to chill out with my family and ring in the new year.
What's the kid's name? What's the Texas A&M? You're going to bring in Caruso to back you up because Johnny Manziel's too hammered.
I did hear. I mean,
what actually happened? Is that real?
I mean, but seriously though, okay, you're running a morning show that starts at 9 a.m. Obviously, a morning show that wouldn't start at 9 p.m. And Johnny Manziel is in Miami the night before at a fight. Which, if you think that Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua fight wasn't fixed, I don't know what to tell you guys. That is just obviously fixed. This time it was fixed the other way. You can just tell when they punch. If Anthony Joshua wanted to kill him, he would have killed him. It's kind of like it looks like a good punch, but it's really not. They're kind of like, I don't know. It's completely fake. So Johnny Manziel's in Miami at this fight. I don't think the Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua fight even started till like after midnight, because I was stupid enough to flip it on just for a second on Netflix after the football game was over. You think Johnny Manziel's in Miami? Fight doesn't even start till after midnight. He's partying. He's partying. He's Johnny Manziel. You think he's going to be there the next morning in Texas? Alex Caruso come off the bench. Yeah.
He did a good job. You know what, though? That's on brand for Johnny. And in this viral culture we're in now, he'll probably end up turning that into some other kind of money-making approach. He's on brand. They may have known that ahead of time. Who knows?
That's another thing. I don't think Jake Paul actually broke his jaw. I would love to hear a doctor confirm that. Jake Paul says, I broke my jaw. Okay, did you? Or is this part of is this because he had to lose once or people would be like, okay, he's always beating these guys. This is obviously fixed. It's actually a good business practice because a lot of people fall for it. I don't think he broke his jaw. I think he's lying, but whatever.
This generation, or at least the fact that this is the pay-per-view and these are the fights we watch now is a joke.
I know.
At least back in the day, it was like, dude, I saw Tyson and Buster Douglas, Columbus native. I remember that was one of the greatest sporting events I ever watched. I'm not lying.
Like Riddick Bowe and like Vander Holyfield, when they had their thing, we had Fan Man. We had a nice little string there, even in Tyson was kind of washed, but even Tyson Lewis was good. Obviously, Tyson Holyfield. Oh my God, I remember being at a party at Ohio State and like they had the fight and the place there was like 200 people like packed in this apartment. Definitely safe. It's probably one of those where like the balcony collapsed or something like that. Like, not that night, but like we probably loosened it up enough. All right, I gotta pack up shop here because I gotta get the show up and get over to Ohio State quickly. We have a press conference starting in 1 hour. Julian Sayin, Jeremiah Smith, Carson Hinsman, Max Clare at 11, Ryan Day at noon, breaking the action. We'll have a bunch of content on Bucknuts, so get on Bucknuts. And then we're going back 6:45 p.m. to interview the defense, including Matt Patricia, both Styles brothers, Kenyatta Jackson, and Caden McDonald. So keep it locked to Bucknuts for all that. Dan Rubin, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody. I know you're still basking. Go Bucks.